If you're interested in some of the best-selling beauty products of all time, then you're in the right place. Hi, I'm Laura Ray, and I have spent a lot of time researching some of the top-selling products of all time. I can't wait to share them with you and share some drugstore and more affordable products that I think could replace these. Let's start with the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream. I think there is not a product on the face of this earth more talked about than this in recent times. I bought a travel size to try out to see what it was like. Now, it is very creamy. It feels nice on the skin. I don't know that there's so much magic in it, but there's another cream for around $16 that has a lot of the same ingredients, and that's this one from Pacifica. I've talked about it before. It's their Dreamy Youth Day and Night Face Cream, and it is beautiful. It has peptides in it. It has floral stem cells, all kinds of buzzwords that we hear about, but it's a beautiful cream. It's just as thick as the Magic Cream. It feels great on the skin, and it has shea butter in it. I love it. I actually like it just as much. So what a price savings this is. The best-selling drugstore foundation of all time really wasn't a surprise for me. It's the L'Oreal True Match. And the reason I think that it wasn't such a surprise is that it comes in 45 shades. There's pretty much something for everyone. I first tried this when I broke out last October with rosacea because dermatologists listed it as something that was good for rosacea. As far as not making it worse, not having any kind of allergic reaction. It doesn't have fragrance in it, and the price point was excellent. Now, I didn't find a perfect match in my shade. I actually ended up mixing two, N2, which is classic ivory, and N3. But I love the coverage that it gives. It did cover up my rosacea. It didn't cause my sensitive skin to react anymore. So I have really enjoyed it. I've used it off and on for the last year, and I think it's a great foundation, and it deserves to be #1. Another one of the best-selling foundations of all time is Bare Minerals. I use the shade Medium Beige. This also helped me when I broke out with rosacea. As I was using skincare that was making my skin very dry and flaky, I found that liquid foundation made the flakes show up a lot. And so I turned to a powder foundation to help me, and Bare Minerals was the one that I used. I also like using it sort of like a finishing powder for more coverage. So if I find that I'm very red, I will put it on top of a foundation. Today I put it on top of the True Match to give me more coverage. So if that's what you're looking for, is maybe you have some hyperpigmentation to cover or red spots like me, this is great for going over your foundation because you're getting that deeper coverage that will mask those things. Most of the top-selling eyeshadows of all time are on the pricier end. I have gotten many of them for holiday gifts or birthday gifts. 3 I wanted to share with you is the Too Faced Natural. Now, I do love this because it's loaded, it's all mattes. So if you're looking for a matte palette, even though this is a little pricier, I believe I actually found this at one point at Marshall's, and that's how I ended up with it. But they blend beautifully. I'm going to give you a drugstore alternative in a minute. Now, this is a repurchase for me. When I turned 50, my daughter bought me the Too Faced chocolate bar palette, so that was 6 years ago. I recently found it at Marshall's for $19.99 and picked it up again. But this is one of those go-to palettes with a lot of different shades that work for mature women. You have some shimmer, matte. It's just a great palette to work with. And then one of my favorites I had to have, which I really don't think is great for my mature eyes, but they're beautiful, is the Urban Decay, the Original Naked. I again bought this when I think I heard about them possibly getting rid of it, and I do love the shades. There's so much shimmer in this. I don't necessarily think it's great for my mature eyes, but I'm just a little bit nostalgic about this palette. But the one that I would suggest that is a bestseller for Maybelline is the City Mini palettes. I love these. I've talked about them so much. The shadows really do rival high-end shadows. So if you see a palette like this with the shades you like, I happen to like this one. It's called Mad About Town. And these are matte shades that blend beautifully. They're creamy. They're not too powdery. I just think they're easily buildable on the eye, and they're perfect for a mature eye. Let's talk about eye pencils. Now, the Urban Decay Decay 24/7 is one of the top selling eye pencils of all time. I have used it before. I don't have one in my collection right now, but they are great pencils. They glide. I suggest actually getting one if you see a shade you really love. Because for me, eye pencils seem to last forever, especially if you have a few, you don't use them that often. Now, one that I would suggest to replace the Urban Decay would be this one from Maybelline, their Tattoo Studio pencil. It's a gel pencil liner. It blends easily. It's so pigmented. It really brings the eyes to life. It's much less expensive than the Urban Decay and lasts just as long. The top selling mascara, I'm sure you all have seen the pink mascara from Maybelline. It's so famous, but I've used it so many times and just never liked it. I love a lot of Maybelline mascara, but not that particular one. I think just because of the brush. The brush just doesn't do much for grabbing my lashes. But what I do like is the Maybelline, the Falsies Lash Lift. I like the brush on this. It's got an hourglass shape. It reminds me of the Too Faced mascara a lot as far as the shape of the brush. I really like that about it, and I think it's much easier to work with than the original Maybelline and gives your lashes a much prettier look. Now, I don't think I get false lashes from this at all, but my lashes do stay lifted, which is what I'm looking for. This Moroccan oil treatment came out in 2008. I bought it around that time, and I absolutely love it. I still have it. I still repurchase it. Now, what I do to save some money is I have bought the small size of it. This is one of those products that a little bit goes a very long way, and it will last you forever. I bought a regular size bottle before, and I finally just got rid of it because I knew I had it too long. But I think this makes the hair so shiny. I do love the fragrance of it. I have tried the Suave, which is supposedly the dupe of it. I've tried so many dupes of it, but I always go back to the Moroccan oil because there's just something special about it. So for the $15 that I paid for it, I feel it's quite worth it. One of the top selling shampoos at the drugstore is Head & Shoulders, which I'm sure we're not really shocked about. So many people struggle with dandruff. But a shampoo that's a big seller that celebrities use and a lot of everyday people like myself use is the Moroccan oil. Now the Hydrate is their best seller, and that's probably the one I will go back to. Right now I'm using their curl enhancing conditioner and shampoo, and I just love this line. I have tried so many drugstore shampoos and they start off fine, but eventually what I find is my hair gets very dry and doesn't look very shiny after a while. Now this doesn't have parabens, it doesn't have sulfates, it's got argan oil in it, keratin, and fatty acids. So this to me is, it's not a super high-end shampoo, it's not drugstore, it's sort of in the middle, but I feel it's worth it because this shampoo is so concentrated that a little bit goes a long way. So I find that when I use a drugstore shampoo, I end up repurchasing it so much more than when I buy a more condensed product like this. Now, if you have a drugstore shampoo you find doesn't dry your hair out and you have dry hair, I would love to hear that in the comments below because I've tried so many and I'm always looking for one that will work from the drugstore. This product is fairly new to the market. It's Olaplex. It came out in 2015. Now before that, this is Olaplex number 3. This is a treatment that you can do in your home that builds the bonds of your hair. So it's not a conditioner, but you will notice, or at least I did on my own hair, it changes the whole texture of your hair and the condition of your hair. When I started using it, I got less breakage, my hair looked thicker, healthier. Now this is a treatment you can do once a week. If your hair, they say, is very damaged, you can do it 2 to 3 times a week. Now, originally, I was getting at this treatment at the salon for $40 a treatment. So after I would get my hair colored, they would do this treatment. But $40 is a lot of money, and that adds up if you're doing that every time you go to get your hair colored. So that's why I was so excited when they came out with an in-home treatment. I stopped doing the $40 treatment. This is $28, which seems like so much for a small bottle like this. However, on my hair, because it's fine, I don't have super long hair, and it is baby fine, I can get maybe 10 treatments out of this. So if you think 10 times 40, that's $400 versus $28. So this ends up being a real savings. Let's talk about lipsticks. I have some that are so inexpensive and are the top selling of all time. We'll start with this one from Revlon, number 415, Pink in the Afternoon. That's the shade I'm wearing today, and this is what Audrey Hepburn wore in Breakfast at Tiffany's. It's such a beautiful shade. I just think it's one of those shades that would look gorgeous on anyone, any skin tone. It is so creamy, it goes on beautifully, and that's why Revlon has kept it in their collection all these years. This is one of my all-time favorites. It's from Clinique and it's Black Honey. Now, Black Honey actually started in the 70s. They had it in a little pot, like a lip gloss in a pot, and it looked like honey, so that's why they named it Black Honey. But then it had a resurgence. It came out in an almost lipstick in, let's see, like around 1989. And then in the 90s is when it really took off. Now this is sort of like a brown berry shade. I love the way it feels on my lips. It's very thin, it glides on beautifully, and it's just a color that I keep repurchasing even after all these years. A top seller for CoverGirl is this one from their Exhibitionist line. This shade I had never tried before. It's called Enchantress Blush, and it's a purple-based pink. It's a very unique shade. I really like it. I think depending on what you're wearing, it could look gorgeous. And pink is big this year, so this is a great shade to purchase to add to your collection of pink makeup. 4 lipsticks of Ruby Woo from MAC are sold every minute. Now, I don't have Ruby Woo in my collection. I wanted to have it for the video and I just didn't have time to get it, but I got what is considered a dupe. I've seen it all over the internet and I wanted to try this. It's from NYX. And it is absolutely gorgeous. Now, the way I like to apply this is with a flat brush. I like to go along the lip. Also, I don't like applying this directly from the tube. It's just too thick for my mature lips. I think red looks nice on a mature lip when it's sort of applied like more like a stain. That's the way I've been applying it, at least, and I like it better on myself that way. But this shade is beautiful. I didn't expect that I would like it so much. This is Perfect Red from NYX, and it's going to become one of my favorites in my collection. One of my all-time favorites, I've mentioned this so many times, is Pillow Talk from Charlotte Tilbury. I got it for my birthday last year, and I have loved it so much, but I have a great dupe for it. It's from Maybelline. It's their Super Stay Ink Crayon, and the shade is called Trust Your Gut. This is almost impossible to find in a store, but they have it thankfully on Amazon. I have it in my Amazon store, and thank you so much for supporting my Amazon store. It's really what's keeping my channel going and allows me to purchase all of this makeup. But this glides on beautifully. It does stay. I usually have this in my purse that I take to school, and I can put it on in the morning, and even through coffee, water, talking, all the things going on in a school day, it stays on. So this has really become one of my true favorites. Tarte Shape Tape is one of the #1 selling concealers. Now, I have purchased it and I just don't like it. It's just too thick for my under eyes. I like to apply either a brightener like this from Maybelline, the Instant Age Rewind. I put it on the outer corner and the inner corner. I showed the other week my LA Girl Yellow Color Corrector. That works amazing. I love that too. Another concealer that I love is the new True Match. Now, I bought it in a couple of shades. Really, the one that brightens me up is Fair W1-2, and this has actually hyaluronic acid in it. I found the Shape Tape was so thick, and even though I blended it out, I still could see creasing in my eyes. So it just didn't work for me. It works for a lot of people, and I'm glad that it does. But I find the thinnest amount of product that I can put in my eye area, the better, the more youthful my eyes look. And so I found that these that I just mentioned work so much better than the Shape Tape. One of the top selling blushes is from L'Oreal. It's their True Match. Now, I purchased this a while back. I love this shade. It's Bare Honey. What's nice about this shade in particular is it really goes with anything that you're wearing. You can even use it just to bronze up your face. With this blush, they're also being more inclusive. There are a lot of different shades for different skin types and colors. In 1911, this cream, Nivea, came out. It is still so famous today. And why? Because it works for so many people. I read review after review online how many people love this, not only women, but men. Now, this is said to be a dupe for the $345 La Mer. I can't even imagine paying $345. I don't hold it against anyone that can, but I won't ever be paying that. I ordered this big tin off of Amazon, and it does feel beautiful on the skin. I used it on my arms, my hands. I didn't try it on my face yet because I have such reactive skin, but so many people said they used this or their grandmother did. Brow gel is all the rage these days, and I love it for my fine brows. Well, these brow gels that are top selling cost $24, $22. The Benefit Gimme Brow was one of the first, and that runs $24. And the Anastasia Tinted Brow Gel runs $22. Those are some of the top selling ones. I like the Physicians Formula. It is a beautiful gel. It's got this little tiny spoolie that really helps for my fine brows. Now, I also like the e.l.f. Wow Brow. That runs, oh, I don't know, I think around $4. But these are great gels that will rival those high-end and will save you a lot of money. The winner of last week's giveaway is pinned in the first pinned comment. Now, for this week, I have two of my favorite lip masks, the Beauty Hacks Lip Mask. If you would just leave me a comment below, what's your favorite top-selling product of all time? Or maybe you have a favorite product that's not one of the top sellers, but you feel deserves to be on the list. Thanks so much for watching.